So hello everyone, Vikram here. This is the pre-market analysis video, and here we are going to focus on the tech and AI sector. We'll try to cover all these stocks that I've mentioned in this list here. So we'll try to cover each of them one by one, but if you're looking for any particular stock from this, you can jump onto the timestamp. I will be mentioning that too here. So let's move on to our first stock, that is Palantir Technology stock. So in the last trading session, you can see the stock gave 1.9% up move here, and it closed at $156.10. And now you can see from the last few trading session, it's consolidating between this range here, and it's not able to move outside of this range. Every time it comes to test either this 159 or this 155, it usually takes support at 155, and when it goes to test 159, it gets rejected and again comes back. So it's consolidating here, and if you're looking for good momentum in this stock, then we need a breakout of this $159 level. If we see this strong breakout today and the stock manages to close above this level, we can see good upside movement then in the coming few days. But for that, it needs to sustain also above this 159.21. Like suppose if it gives a closing above this 159.21 today, and in the next few trading sessions it sustains above this 159 level, like we see green candles forming above this level, then we can look for this target of 173.84 in the coming few days. So these are the important levels for Palantir Technology stock. Just remember this thing, that downside we have 155 as a very good support here. So in case if it gives a breakdown of this price today, it doesn't sustain, it gives a closing below this level, then 147.93 can be tested. So these are the important levels for Palantir Technology stock. Now let's move on to our next stock, that is NVIDIA Corporation stock. Now in the last trading session, we saw 0.7% up move here, and it closed at 168.31 level. And in the previous trading session, it tested this 170.34 price. This level we have discussed in my previous video. I've told you that this level can be tested if it takes support around this 165. So in this candle, it was taking a support, it gave a closing above this price, and in the very next candle it tested this $170 also, and also got rejected from this price. But if you look at the pre-market price today, that is 169.70, so it's going to open around this resistance today, below this resistance. If it opens below this price and again goes to test this $170, 170.34, and manages to break above this price, then 171.61 can be the next target. And once we see the stock breaking above this 171.61 level, we can see a good momentum then in this stock for the upside. So this is my view on NVIDIA Corporation stock. In case if in today's trading session it doesn't manages to break above this 170, and after testing this 170.34 it gets rejected and closes below this price today, then again 165.57 can be tested next. So these are the important levels for NVIDIA Corporation stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is AMD stock. Now in the previous trading session, it tested this level of 150.44, which was the support level. We saw this 0.1% up move here, and it gave a closing above this support level, this 150.44. You can see that it tried to break below this price in the previous trading session. This support level, it tried to breach this level, but by the end of the trading session it sustained it and gave a closing above this price. And if you look at the pre-market price also today, that is 152.09. so in the pre-market session right now it is sustaining here, and it's going to open above this support level today. The important thing here we need to see today is that if we see a green candle forming here around this level, if this kind of setup forms, there are very good chances that we can get to see this level of $158, and once it will break this price also, then 162.68 can be the next target for this stock. But only if it gives a green candle, if it sustains this price and we see a green candle forming here around this level. In case if the stock today doesn't sustain this 150.44 and it comes to test this level and doesn't sustain this price, gives a closing below this level, in this kind of setup, if this happens, then 144.34 can be tested on the downside. So these are the important levels for AMD stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is Intel Corporation stock. Now in the previous trading session, we have seen a flat closing here, and the stock gave a closing of 24.48 level. This was the previous closing here, And the stock from the last 2-3 days, it's sustaining above this support price. This 24.27 is acting as a very good support here, and in my view, I am expecting some up move in the coming few days. It should at least come to this level of 25.64. This level should be tested next in my view, because as you can see in the pre-market also, the price is above this support level, so it's sustaining in the pre-market session also above this level. The target I've already told you is 25.64, but in case if it goes to test this 24.27 again today, doesn't sustain it and gives a breakdown of this level, and by breakdown I mean a closing also below this level. If this kind of setup forms, then 23.73 can be tested again. So this is my view on Intel Corporation stock. Let's move on to our next one, that is SMCI stock. So in the previous trading session we saw 0.9% negative move here, and it gave a closing of $40.04. This was the previous closing here. It tested this 41.12, but again got rejected from this price and closed around this support level. And you can see from the last few trading session, it's consolidating in this range here. We need a proper breakout, either a proper breakout or a breakdown of this level to get a good momentum here inside. Until the stock is trading, we can only expect it to consolidate here. You can see like in the pre-market session right now, the price is 40.27, so it's inside this range again, between this 41.12 to 39.61. so today it gives a breakout of this 41.12 and we see a closing above this price, then 42.95 can be tested next. But in case if it comes to test this 39.61 today and doesn't sustain it, and we see a breakdown of this level, if that happens, then 38.45 can be the next target. And by breakdown I mean closing also below this level on daily time frame. So these are the important levels for SMCI stock. So now let's move on to our next one, that is IONQ stock. In the last trading session we saw 1.8% negative move here, and it closed at $41.01. And in the previous trading session it again tested this 40.46 price, got a good support here and closed above this level. And you can see from the last few trading session, it's taking a good support around this price. With this price we have 50 EMA also, which is giving a good support here. So in my view, the stock, when it will break above this 41.34 and it will sustain above this price, then we can see good momentum for the upside, and the target in this case can be this level of $44.36. This level can be the next target. But in case if the stock gives a breakdown of this crucial support level now, because this price, you can see how many times it has tested this level. So if it again comes to test this price today and doesn't sustain it, gives a breakdown of this level and closes below this price, then we can expect some correction ahead in this stock. So these are the levels right now for IONQ stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is RGTI stock. So in the last trading session we saw 0.3% up move here, and it closed at $15.15. And in the previous trading session it again tested this 15.47 level, tried to break above this price, but it couldn't and gave a closing below this level. And you can see from the last few trading session, it's not able to move above this price. This is acting as a very strong resistance here. So now if you're looking for good upside movement here, then it must need to break above this 15.47. This price should break now on the upside, then only we can see this target and this 17.23. If it breaks above this 15.47, both these targets will become active then. But by looking at the pre-market price, the pre-market price is 15.19, which is below this resistance. So by looking at the pre-market, I think it should first come to this level of 14.74, and once it will test this price, then from this level we can see an up move coming. This is my view for this stock. In case if the stock opens around this level and manages to break above this price, then as I told you, 16.24 can be tested next. So this is my view on RGTI stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is CleanSpark stock. So in the previous trading session we saw 0.7% negative move here, and it closed at $9.17. And in the previous trading session the stock tested this 9.36 price, which was the resistance level. It tested this price, got rejected and gave a closing below this price. And if you look at the pre-market price today, the pre-market price is 9.31, which is also below this resistance level here. So if it opens below this price today and starts going down, then on the downside we can expect it to at least test this level of $9. This level can be tested then on the downside. But in case if it manages to break above this price, since the pre-market price is already around the resistance, so if it opens around this level and manages to break above this 9.36, and with that if we see a closing also above this level, remember this thing that closing is very important, because closing gives us an idea that the price is sustaining or not. So if it gives a closing above this price, 9.73 can be the next target. So this is my view on CleanSpark stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is APLD stock. Now in the previous trading session we saw 0.1% up move here, and it closed at $13.91. And in my previous video I've given you this target of 13.35. This target has been achieved. The stock in the previous trading session tested this exact level here, even tested this 250 EMA, also took a support, and again closed around this resistance price, this 14.04. and in my view now it should test this 15.08 today, because the pre-market price is already around this 14.70. so it's opening above this resistance price today, and it's almost around this 15.08. so it should test this 15.08 today, and if it manages to break above this price and we see a strong closing above this level, then we can see upside movement in the coming few days, and the target for upside can be 16.42 level. So these are the important levels for APLD stock. In case if the stock tests this 15.08 today and gets rejected from this price and we see a closing below this level, then we can again see a pullback here to this level of 14.04. so these are the important levels for APLD stock. Now let's move on to our next one, that is CRWV stock. So in the previous trading session we saw 5% up move here, and it closed at $93.55. and in the previous trading session it sustained above this $89 price. This price was a very important support level here, and it has sustained this price now, and I've told you in my previous video also, if the price sustains here we can look for this target of 97.64. and today this target has almost been achieved in the pre-market session. If you look at the pre-market price, the target has already been achieved here, and now we need to see in today's trading session if it sustains above this 97.64 or not, because this price, as I told you, is a resistance price. If it sustains above this level, then 102.42 can also be seen in the coming few days, but for that it needs to close above this 97.64 today. So these are the important levels for CRWV stock. So this was the pre-market analysis video on tech and AI stocks. I hope you find this information valuable, and if you have any other stocks you want me to cover in my next video, you can comment down below. I'll be very happy to cover those. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.